Greetings and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Gyesie, your transformational coach and shamanic leadership guide here at Inner Mileage, where we help folks understand the trauma-informed basis of their limited self-beliefs and how to take inspired action to create resonant best lives right here, right now. Today we're going to talk a little bit about narcissistic abuse in the law, how to protect yourself and reclaim your sovereignty in this context. And today we're going to confront a reality most don't talk about or avoid. Narcissistic abuse is not only psychological warfare, it's legal warfare. It can be in employment or business partnerships, in marriages, and so forth. And it is spiritual warfare that manifests through contracts, judges, financial sabotage, and even silence. And if you've endured narcissistic abuse, whether intimate, familial, or workplace, you're not merely a survivor. You are an unacknowledged litigant in a battle for your soul and sovereignty. And today's session is not just about victimization, it's about strategic empowerment, legal clarity, and soul-level alchemy. So let's get into it. According to research done in the Journal of Trauma and Dissociation, it is a landmark study. Narcissistic abuse is proven to cause complex post-traumatic stress disorder, identity fragmentation, and decision-making paralysis. So neurologically, survivors of abuse exhibit hyperactivation of the amygdala, the fear response area, and atrophy or damage of the prefrontal cortex, which is where your executive function and risk assessment is. This is why victims of narcissistic abuse often stay silent, may even comply with unreasonable demands, and fear the courtroom. And many scholars have argued that trauma is a disturbance in the relational field, and it's a distortion of your connection to others and to divine order. Let me give you some more context. 99% of survivors who were researched in a study in 2024 noted that they were coerced with debt and fraud, employment sabotage, and hidden assets and financial gaslighting. In other words, economic destabilization is intentional. It strips the victim of the resources required for legal defense. And in spiritual economics, money is not just currency, it's stored energy and sovereignty. And when a narcissist hijacks your finances, they are hijacking your life force and legal agency. Now, relationally, gaslighting and flying monkeys fracture you, the victim's witness field. It's not just social dynamics. This is a tactic because witnessing creates reality, the observer effect. And when no one witnesses your truth, the narcissist becomes the sole reality maker, which is why the narcissist likes to isolate you, because legally this isolation leads to lack of character witnesses, difficulty obtaining affidavits, and vulnerability to false allegations. So the bottom line here is narcissistic abuse is designed to erase your credibility and financial footing, making legal self-defense impossible. But that appearance is an illusion, because it's a tactic used by the narcissist to weaponize the legal system against you. And let me be clear, the legal system can be a sword or a spell. And here's how the narcissist turned it into a weapon. One, and this is relevant in any kind of scenario. There may be false allegations, child abuse, neglect, domestic violence, etc. Then there's litigation abuse, endless lawsuits, discovery abuse, frivolous motions, etc. Then there are parental alienation claims, often in retaliation. There's custody warfare, manipulation of reports, violation of court orders with minimal consequences, and so forth. And legal abuse syndrome, as per Dr. Karen Huffer, describes the re-traumatization caused by legal abuse, which leads to chronic anxiety, it does, cognitive impairment because of the stress, and even depression and suicidal ideation. But these are things that are rarely recognized, therefore compounding your vulnerability if you are in victim mode. And also, abusers are often unconsciously channeling the archetype of a trickster sorcerer, where they use confusion as control, manipulation of order and law, and cast legal spells by distorting the truth. Right? This is clear forth in the Kabbalah, where law becomes inverted and justice is mocked. And to overcome this, you must not only hire a lawyer, you must become your own legal alchemist. So what do you do? What's your strategic defense? Know your rights. Depending on your jurisdiction, survivors can pursue restraining and protective orders, civil lawsuits of financial abuse or defamation, custody protections, and using all the necessary conventions available to you to recognize coercive control and psychological abuse as abuse of your fundamental rights in a given situation, whether it's parental or business or otherwise. And then it's important to have a multidisciplinary team. This can include a trauma-informed attorney, very important, a financial forensic analyst, important when the finances and enmeshments there, a trauma-informed coach like myself or therapist, or both, a legal advocate, and a guardian ad litem if children are involved, you see. And then it's also important to document relentlessly, creating an evidence of incidents, screenshots of communications, financial statements, audio recordings where legally permitted, because documentation does not just protect, it becomes your sword of truth. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And then ultimately, you want to be in a place of having a regulated nervous system. This is what working with a coach like myself can help you with, ensuring that somatically you're grounded. Why? Because trauma dysregulation mimics dishonesty to judges and jurors unfamiliar with your PTSD. So your nervous system is not just emotional, it's your courtroom credibility. So let's go into an area where others overlook, which is the spiritual physics of legal empowerment. So legal empowerment is not just legal, it's spiritual physics in action. What does this mean? Across ancient civilizations, law was not man-made, it was a cosmic principle. For example, in ancient Egypt, there's Ma'at, which is about truth and balance, or the Dharma in India, which is about right order and purpose, or the Logos in Greece, which is about divine reason and structures. Therefore, when you assert your legal rights, you're not just filing papers, you're invoking these ancient spiritual forces. You are. And in shamanic terms, narcissistic abuse often reflects an unconscious soul contract. Say, I will remain silent, compliant, and small to survive. And when you assert your legal rights, you declare, I now renegotiate, I choose sovereignty. This act transforms karmic cycles and liberates ancestral lines, you see. So these are ways in which you can begin to protect yourself, because survivors who engage in legal action experience neuroplastic remapping, leading to increased self-efficacy and trauma resolution because you feel empowered. And again, the quantum effect of the observer effect comes into play because asserting your narrative changes its manifestation. The courtroom is an alchemical container where reality is negotiated, you see? Now, if this resonates with you, type transform in the comment section, and know this, that every affidavit, every motion, every piece of testimony becomes a ritual for self-declaration and energetic reclamation, not just for you, but for all who walk this path. So to those who are still frozen in fear, hear this. The narcissist's greatest power is not their deception, it isn't. It's your silence. And your silence sustains their spells. Your voice, however, shatters it. So speak, document, defend, transmute, and ascend. And realize we at Alchemize are here to support you. If we can be of help, type transform in the comment section. Because what we represent is not just surviving narcissistic abuse, but mastering the alchemy of liberation, whether it's legal, emotional, spiritual, and cosmic. You are not the victim. You are a sovereign force of divine law and cosmic justice. Keep ascending and shining your light. Peace.